Bre-X was a Canadian group of companies whose Calgary-based minerals division, Bre-X Minerals Limited, was responsible for one of the biggest scandals in stock market history. Bre-X Minerals Limited was founded in 1989 by Canadian businessman David Walsh, who had previously found success in the oil and gas industry in North America. The company was relatively unproductive until 1993, when Walsh was advised by a geologist, John Felderhoff, to buy a property in the middle of a jungle near the Busang River in Kalimantan, Indonesia. The site's project manager, Filipino geologist Michael de Guzman, originally estimated that gold reserves there amounted to 2 million ounces. Over time, the estimates increased to 30 million ounces in 1995, 60 million ounces in 1996, and finally, in 1997, 70 million ounces. A vast find. The company's stock, originally only listed on Alberta's provincial exchange, moved to Toronto's TSX and the Nasdaq in 1996. Not surprisingly, the colossal reported finds on the company's new project sent the stock price into the stratosphere, to a peak above $280 in 1997. Such was the frenzy, major banks and investment houses flocked to get involved. Major companies contemplated takeover bids, with the company valued at over $7 billion in today's money. The Indonesian government, then under the control of the spectacularly corrupt President Suharto, also wanted a piece of the action. After much negotiation, it was agreed that Bre-X would retain 45% of the profits from the venture. The remainder was to be split between mining giant Freeport-McMoRan, who would run the mine, and the family and cronies of Suharto. After the deal was announced on the 17th of February 1997, Freeport-McMoRan began their due diligence of the site, and with that, the alarm bells would soon begin to ring. There's lots more to come in this video, but please consider liking, subscribing to the channel, and sharing. And please consider supporting my work with a PayPal donation. The link is in the description. Thank you. On the 19th of March 1997, the aforementioned Michael de Guzman reportedly committed suicide by jumping from a helicopter in Indonesia. 4 days later, a body was recovered, but missing the hands and feet. Animal predation had further complicated matters. When identification was claimed, it was only via a tooth and a thumbprint. Journalist John Macbeth, who investigated the scandal, claimed that a body had disappeared from the morgue in the town the helicopter had taken off from. The supposed remains of de Guzman were found only 400 meters from a logging road, and were only seen by another Filipino geologist. Macbeth further asserted that de Guzman was a bigamist, and one of the women who claimed to be married to him continued to receive anonymous monthly payments from someone long after the geologist's supposed death. A week later, Freeport-McMoRan announced that its own due diligence core samples, led by Australian geologist Colin Jones, showed, quote, insignificant amounts of gold. Panic selling of the company's stock ensued. Suharto cancelled the deal, while Bre-X demanded more tests and reviews of the samples. Strathcona Minerals, another mining firm, was brought in to give a second opinion. Their results came on the 4th of May and left no one in any doubt. The Busang samples had been salted with gold dust, in some cases gold shaved from jewellery. Even if the samples had been genuine, they never came close to the quantities that had been claimed by de Guzman. Trading in Bre-X was suspended, and the company filed for bankruptcy protection. Angry investors demanded answers, and lawsuits began to fly. the head of the Toronto Stock Exchange, resigned. Several public sector pension funds lost tens of millions in the crash. Bre-X formally went bankrupt on the 5th of November, 1997. David Walsh always professed his innocence and moved to the Bahamas in 1998. Shortly after moving there, 2 masked gunmen broke into his home and demanded his money. 3 weeks later, on the 4th of June 1998, Walsh died of a brain aneurysm. To his credit, Walsh had called in the RCMP as soon as the fraud became apparent, and supposedly had no knowledge of the shenanigans in Indonesia. The RCMP investigation ended with no charges. But in 1999, Felderhoff was charged with insider trading by the Ontario Securities Commission. The case would drag on through the courts for years, eventually ending in a 2007 acquittal for Felderhoff. A class action lawsuit by investors also faltered. There was simply no money available from Bre-X to justify its continuance. Prior to the scandal, professional geology in Canada was unregulated. This was amended so that Bre-X could never happen again. At least, not in terms of unsubstantiated claims of mineral deposits. As long as greed, the lifeblood of conmen, is alive and well, another Bre-X, with a different kind of fool's gold, will inevitably happen in the future.